welcome back to another session by Grey Beyond Narratives. We were away for a little while, but we're back. Today's topic is election in America, also Netanyahu's speech that he gave in Congress. I'm going to introduce you to the topic. We will start with Biden's exit from the presidency race and focusing more on what time he has left in his government. On November 5th, Americans will go to the polls to elect their next president. Until June 27th, it seemed that the matchup was between the same two candidates as in 2020, Joe Biden, the Democratic incumbent, and Donald Trump, his Republican predecessor in office. But when Mr. Biden delivered a terrible debate performance, the Democrats kind of pressurized him to withdraw from the race and find a better Democrat candidate, which was, of course, Kamala Harris. She quickly consolidated support from within the party and is expected to win a virtual roll call of Democratic delegates, perhaps somewhere around August 1st to August 7th. Polls after Mr. Biden dropped out suggest Ms. Harris is closer to Mr. Trump than her predecessor was. Mr. Biden's presidency has been defined by high inflation, big industrial policy bills, and turmoil abroad. Mr. Trump's supporter, meanwhile, tried to overturn his election loss in 2020. He faces federal charges over his alleged participation in that scheme and has been convicted of felonies relating to his 2016 presidential campaign. On July 13th, at a rally in Pennsylvania, a 20-year-old man shot at Mr. Trump, grazing the former president's ear and killing a bystander. Kamala Harris has one clear advantage over Mr. Biden, her age. At 59, she's over 2 decades younger than he is and 18 years younger than Mr. Trump. If Kamala Harris wins, it will be the first female who will become American president, also first South Asian and South American mix, as Kamala's father was Jamaican and mother is an Indian. In a survey conducted by Morning Consult between July 22 and 24, Harris is leading Trump by 1.46%, supporting her above the former president's 45%. This is all that is going on about the topic right now. But I've also seen polls, especially of Telegraph, where Trump is still in the lead. Like Biden was, I think, 44% and Trump was 48%. Kamala is now somewhere around 46%, but it's still somewhat the same. And Megan Thee Stallion performed at one of the rallies, and a lot of people are making fun of that because they were, twerking and all that stuff on the stage. So a lot of people are questioning that, especially the conservative Americans. So, sure. We're supposed to play the speech first of Kamala Harris and Biden, and then we'll go and discuss the topic.
Yeah, so we're just going to try and set up the actual speech, and we're going to try and communicate in regards to that. But first of all, I would like to basically ask Maham a few questions in regards to how she sees Kamala's entrance as in terms of the elections within the US. Do you actually think that it's going to have an impact? Is Trump going to basically have to re-strategize, or is it going to be a rerun? And also with the assassination attempt and everything, does this bring a hurdle in Trump's actual campaign, or is it a straightforward one?
So after what happened in Trump's rally, most of the politicians are calling for more calm environment, and instead of dividing the country and coming up with some extreme measures. And secondly, when it comes to Kamala, I think, as much as I've read, the Trump party is going to, the Republicans are planning to use what happened on the southern border of America, the whole Mexico, Guatemala, and illegal immigrants, the whole thing. That's what they're planning to use against her during the campaign. And I'm not sure if America is kind of ready for a female president. America, it will be the first time in their history, and especially knowing she's not even a white woman. I mean, like Hillary Clinton, a white woman, she didn't stand a chance. I don't know about this one. Maybe if the minority support her, which is also kind of because Kamala did not attend the speech by Netanyahu in Congress. A lot of Democrats didn't attend that speech though. But she also showed her support for Gaza, and then also said stuff that how Israel has the right to defend itself. So it's she's playing both sides, but I don't know. American Muslims are mostly not like impressed by the Democrats. But then there's Republican. On the other side, it's like Donald Trump. So it's like better of two evils.
So now there's a question: how is Kamala Harris's stance on Israel going to be any different from what it is right now? Because he happens to be the vice president. Do you see her making any radical changes?
As a vice president, I don't think she had much of that much of opinion, or it was more the president Biden, and he made a lot of mistakes. But I think a lot of Democrats are not supporting what Israel is doing. Like there were like 40 Democrat leaders who did not attend the speech. There was one. I forgot her name. Something a Palestinian American woman. She actually held war criminal placard in that Congress speech. So I don't know. I don't think that it's going to change much. Biden had a thing of going back on his words, like he said he will make the in his speech when they were in the election speech, he said about avenging or taking those people to the court, or justice for that Jamal Khashoggi guy. And then the first visit he paid was to Mohammed bin Salman, which we all know was CIA have kind of proof of it that it was him who did it. Not saying it just on behalf, CIA had proof, but still he went there. So I guess it doesn't really matter what they say in elections. Most probably when they win, it'll be a different story.
So, do you think, in your opinion, at least from what we've seen, Trump has made some accusations against Kamala Harris? To begin with, he's basically referring to her as a czar of the borders. And
Border
he's
czar, yeah, border
yeah,
czar.
coming up with charts and interesting things, basically showing that immigration was much lower in terms of when he was in power. But clearly, if you look deeper into that situation, what you'll find is that that's surely manipulation of statistics, because that was a time of COVID and lockdown was rampant in that period. But it seems to me that I don't know if you agree or you disagree, but the choice of his running candidate, Vance, as well, if you look at it, they seem to be pretty pro-Russian. And it seems like there are a few issues: Israel, immigration, then the Ukraine war, uh, in which I almost feel like even though Kamala Harris is a fresh breath of air when it comes to the election campaign compared to what was occurring with in terms of Biden, but it seems like even Harris is part and parcel of this government. Do you see her winning anything? Do you think that she has a chance? Because initially, or is there a segment of American populace who might go out and vote for her and there might be a swing, or is it just a bit of a hiccup for Trump and that's about it?
Honestly, Joe Biden when he became president, it was really bad, like really bad. Illegal immigrant have been the highest in the past few years when Biden was the president. The whole Israel and Palestine fiasco. So I don't know. Maybe I feel like Trump still have a big chance to win. I mean, he's leading most of the polls, and even though his vice president is really weird and he has some weird concepts, but I think he might. I think it's a kind of situation where you cannot see there's not much of a difference. Like you cannot see a big difference. Like, oh, he's going to lose. Like when Joe Biden and Donald Trump were doing all that election stuff, we knew Joe Biden was going to win. In this situation, it's kind of very confusing because on the other side, it's a woman, and Americans, they're not really good at electing a woman president.
So how do you see this election progressing? Do you have you noticed? Have you seen those ear? Uh, uh, that
Yeah, American flag. Yes, yes, I've seen that. They're
I
selling it.
think that's very clever by the Trump campaign, because he's brought that right in as an accessory, and that's going to remind the voters each time they see them in general public that this attempt was against our leader or against Trump, and he's going to sub minimally like keep that thing constantly in the background in the run up to the elections.
Oh yeah, they're playing on it.
Very
They're
clever.
playing on it really good, and they're also playing on. Like I said, they're also playing on what happened on the Mexican border because, according to the Republican, Kamala visited it after like 3 months when she got the assignment. Even though, so the problem with that situation is that it was not properly explained by the White House, by the government, I'd say, what her job was at the border. It was basically the job of the guy who led the home security. But because it was given to her as an assignment, the Republicans are using it against her uh, all over the place. Like they're continuously going round and round and they're mentioning it everywhere. So I don't know how that's going to, because America is kind of having an illegal immigrant kind of a situation where they're just increasing day by day. And when Texas couldn't take it, so they sent him to the blue cities, and now they're really kind of like fed up of the illegal immigrant, which is ironic because most of the countries they've been destroyed by the West, and now they don't want them around. So weird. Anyway, Shah, what do you think? Who's going to win?
I
I don't.
I think it's going to definitely be Trump, and we're going to be well, not definitely, but in my opinion, there's a huge chance that Trump is going to scave through. 12 years of Trump is what we're basically going to be seeing, because I would consider the last 4 years on and off of him being in the limelight as well. And it seems like in Biden, they did not have a viable option. But for some reason, am not very convinced in terms of Kamala Harris due to various reasons, being what you might say the first female president of United States of America. I think America is far behind that period now, uh, unless there can be a situation, and maybe Trump needs to stop pushing for that. There have been people like Ben Shapiro and a lot of people who are now advocating, if he cannot run for elections due to his illness or whatever reason, why is he the president at this moment in time? And if that was to occur, and he was to resign in within the next 4 months, and Kamala Harris becomes by default then as the vice president, has to take over as the president, that will basically give her those 4 months, will demonstrate actually, if that was to happen, what Kamala Harris is able to achieve or do. And that, I think, in my opinion, is going to be the strongest point in terms of if she's going to have any chance of succeeding or not. So that's my understanding in this. I don't know what you think about that.
Shaji, have you heard about the Vance guy, the second guy to Donald
Yeah,
Trump?
the running
He
mate of
he
Donald Trump.
he calls himself a post-libertarian, something like that. So according to him, if you don't have children, you have no right to decide who's going to be the president, and you shouldn't be in the government. And right now, people with no children are running the government, hence all the issues in the country. And I think they're going to start some project 2026 or 2025. I forgot.
2025 Project 20 Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, so that's what he's playing on. It's really weird. It's actually a thing. Some dynamic guy made it up that if you don't, the children, parents of a children should get an extra vote to vote for them, so that they have the right, because they're people. So that's what JDUNs have been asking for, that people with children should have a third vote, so that we can keep children. America, that's some weird politics. I mean, for a first world country. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
again, that basically indicates that anything which might be of, as you already know, Kamala Harris is a woman who's not been able to have children, and even though that's something which she probably has advocated in the past, that it's something very personal, but that's kind of brought that into the forefront. And I think this is what occurs in specifically
politics.
America. And I think that's something which should not be advocated in the same way as it's being played now. It's something for the rest of the world to see as well. That even though there's all the advocacy of freedom and personal and freedom of speech and personal stuff should remain personal, but it doesn't seem to remain personal in that same way. But having said that, there are very many layers, and in the upcoming shows and in the upcoming events, in the run up to the elections, the Israel side, the Ukraine side, I think we're going to be seeing all these layers unfold. The gender issues are emerging as well again. Uh,
Yeah. I
I
think
think
America is going towards conservatism back there, because they're fed up of whatever is happening in the name of wokeness. And I think there is some situation about Ukraine aid as well. Trump's Republicans are trying to make a point that, I mean, first deal with the border issue and then go sending money to other countries. They are actually against the Ukraine aids, to which they came up with a bill. And now the Trump party is not accepting it, because that would destroy their whole election campaign. It's all dependent on the borders and immigrants and all that stuff. So that's what they're playing on. And so I guess we move to Netanyahu. Netanyahu visited America, and he gave a speech in the Congress. And the visit was kind of impacted by the unexpected withdrawal of President Joe Biden, and it includes crucial meetings with U.S. officials and an address to Congress, and is set against a backdrop of ongoing ceasefire negotiation in Gaza that have entered their third week. While U.S. officials suggest that a deal may be achievable, many believe he benefit politically from the continuation of the conflict. The Israeli public, particularly families of hostages, are increasingly urging the government to secure a deal. Despite Netanyahu's engagement in negotiation, he has also introduced last-minute obstacles, such as retracting concessions related to Palestinian access in northern Gaza and insisting on maintaining control over the Philadelphia corridor. Netanyahu's political standing has improved amid the war, allowing him to delay accountability for prior failures and resist call for new election. His relationship with Biden has been strained, particularly as Biden has expressed criticism of Israel's military action in Gaza and has even withheld certain military supplies. And now Netanyahu is planning to go back to Donald Trump, who is supporting them very strongly. But the point is that last time when I think Netanyahu went to Donald Trump told them to fix the situation as soon as possible. After which Netanyahu started supporting Biden, and also because Donald Trump is angry with Netanyahu, because when Biden won the last election, Netanyahu was the first one who congratulated him, and Donald Trump knows about it. So there's a situation there as well. Israel is presently paying $272 million per day for this war, because it's getting expensive day by day, and there are like in billions of dollar things like catering for children and all those people who are displaced from borders, and hotel stays and schools and universities being disrupted, businesses being disrupted because of this war. But because it's helping Netanyahu forward his agenda, that reminded me. I just came around this video on a channel TRT, and it was made secretly. Netanyahu asked this guy to turn off the camera, but the guy does not turn off the camera. So in that video, he's talking about how he kind of made sure the Oslo Accord peace treaty was never happened, and how he's going to hurt them so bad that it's so unbearable that they never come out of it. He was talking about the Palestinians. So I don't think that Netanyahu have much of a support. Three different European countries have accepted Palestine. Out of 193 UN countries, 140 countries have accepted Palestine as a state. And situation is just getting bad, because just recently Israel bombed Lebanon, Beirut, and killed this guy, Hezbollah leader, Fawad Shukr. And then they also, so the story goes, initially the story went that it was aerial bombing, which killed the other guy. I forgot his name, what his name was, the Hamas politician. But now that now the story came out, so the bomb was kept in that rest house for good 2 months. The place where he was staying, the bomb was there for good 2 months. And this one fine day, he goes into the room and boom, bomb goes off. It's really sad for the Iranian security measures. I mean, people are just doing it. And the third one is, so that's the situation now. Israel is also claiming they also killed the militant leader of Hamas, the looser one, someone called Mohammed Daif, and they're also claiming that they killed him, but they're not claiming the Irani attack because they're scared of retaliation. They're claiming the Beirut one. So situation is just getting worse day by day. So you need to know that the guy who was killed in Iran, I just keep forgetting his name. But anyway, that guy was actually leading the negotiations between Hamas and Israel government for the release of the hostage, and they killed that very guy to, end any possibility of any peace treaty. And they've done this before. So there was this guy in Germany back in the days. I will find his name. They also killed some Aikman. They also killed him when he was trying to negotiate a peace treaty for both Israel and Palestine. And this is mostly happening by the far right parties of Israel. The far right coalition that is running the Israel government right now. One is a finance minister and another is a defense minister. They're like three different parties. They have all threatened Netanyahu that if you accepted the peace deal, we're going to back off from your government. So he's kind of in a weird situation. I don't think he wants to do the peace deal anyway.
I think if you look at what's happening in Israel, and specifically if you look at the economics and the mega projects in regards to that, what you'll see is that there is going to be a peace deal, but at what consequence? As far as Gaza is concerned, it's completely flattened. I think whoever comes into power now, whether it's the Democrats who remain in power or it is the Republicans, they're going to hit a negotiation with Netanyahu, or even if Netanyahu is removed and somebody else takes over in Israel. And the negotiation is going to be upon a peace treaty on rebuilding of Palestine. And what you'll find is countries like Saudi Arabia and countries like UAE are going to come in between and act as if they are the saviors in various ways in terms of rebuilding for their Muslim brothers. But in reality, Hijaz Railways is something which mutually benefits not just China, USA, but also specifically Saudi Arabia, UAE, as well as Israel, at the cost of Palestinians. And I do not believe if this war would have not taken place, they would have had any chance of completing that. And in terms of
So,
rebuilding infrastructure and
so,
everything, I think this is why this has continued for so long.
so there are claims about uh, Israeli government asking this research company, consultancy or something, to make up a plan on how to deal with that. So what they're planning, initially, what their plan was, I think they were just checking if people are was can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, I could not hear you for a second.
Okay, so Israelis are planning to shift Gazans or the Palestinians to the desert of Sinai and give them all the facilities, all the places to live, and everything. But they're planning to just remove them. There are no plans of keeping them. I don't know about the West Bank, but this is what I know about Gaza. And it has actually, a lot of people are actually questioning it. That is like ethnic cleansing of people. Uh, that's what they plan on doing. They're going to shift them to the Sinai Desert. And when it comes to the uh, Arab countries, I mean, when you read about the 6 Days War, it's just sad. I don't think they would ever try to mess with Israel again after that. And they're not doing it as well. But it's just surprising to see that they're just going into Lebanon, they're going into Iran and killing people, and there's no repercussions for it.
Yeah, that
But
might that's one of the scenarios which a lot of people have been saying. But I don't you think that's a bit far fetched? Do you think that's achievable?
so when the document came out, of course everybody read it. The Egyptian government is not letting refugees in Egypt, and but the IDF is still trying to push them towards the Rafah border. It's achievable. I don't know. I really don't know. The plan is like around, I think there's a 7 months plan. For 7 months plan now, I think it's a 5 months plan, and they're planning to get rid of the whole situation in 7 months. And then they're going to have election because Israel is having a protest of people who are asking for elections. They're not happy with Netanyahu, and this is why he's extending the war to stay in power for a longer time period. But it's also making them pay a lot of price, a big price. Some researchers say that if it went for too long, Israel might not be able to get out of their situation financially. But
I think
when it comes to possibility, I don't. Palestinians seem like a very stubborn community. I don't think they're going anywhere. They're going to stay there, and Egypt is not letting them in because they don't want what Egypt don't want the Palestinian to entirely disappear. So if Palestinian Gazan especially leave their place and shift to Sinai, they would have no claim left on the Palestinian country or state. but I don't see anything coming out of it, like atrocities and genocides happening every day, and nobody does anything about it. So why does anyone think this is going to get better?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think it's viable either in the long run, and displacement of such a large number of people in a complete sense. We've kind of not witnessed that in history, so that would be the first, but you can never discount that. Uh, I think we're coming to a close of this conflict because anything which could be destroyed has by now been destroyed within Palestine or what is known as Gaza. So I think there are going to be stakeholders involved now, and it seems like Hijaz Railways is now very much complete in rest of Israel, and it's pretty much laid out all the way to Saudi Arabia. The part which is missing is ironically Gaza. And if they do that in Gaza, and they're going to, I think the stakeholders are going to be Saudi Arabia. Hence, they've maintained that relationship. According to the Abrahamic Accord as well, there's an economic accord as well. I think that's all going to suddenly come into play. And who better to do it than Trump? And I think that's something, again, with Trump saying, I'm going to end this war and I'm going to bring everyone onto the table, is an indication that it's going towards that way, in my opinion, as well, because that's what he's going to play on. That's something which the stakeholders are all going to be on about. And obviously, they've already curtailed Iran in recent times. Iran is something to look at in the future, but you never know. But I think uh, that's where we're headed. But let's see
I
where.
was I was reading some stuff back in the days. Arabs are more about Arabism and everything, but right now, Mohammed bin Salman, as they say, is more of a nationalist kind of a guy, and he is he is not interested in saving Arabs, or because he's involved in the Yemen war, he's involved in the Syrian war. He does not care. So for him, some people in Gaza dying, I don't think he cares. And for him, what matters is what helps Saudi, because now US, because Saudi was US was mostly dependent on Saudi for most of its oil reserves, and now US have found its own crude oil. So they're shifting. They're kind of shifting from the oil part, and they're shifting to other stuff. So he's just all about nationalism. He does not care, and the rest of the countries, most of them are puppets anyways.
So I think we've kind of given an overview today. This is an entirely new show. We're going to be doing a few more shows in regards to that. We're going to become more interactive in the coming days. This was kind of a test run after a bit of a gap. I don't know how many people are watching, but we'll be announcing the shows in advance, where we've got some very interesting guests in coming up in our lineup as well. Tomorrow, we've got something. I think, Maham, can you explain what we're going to be doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, it's going to be a bit earlier, about 9 p.m. Pakistan time, 5 p.m., 4 p.m. UK time. And it's going to be on Para Chinar and the situation which is developing within Pakistan. So give a bit of an overview, Maham, and we've got some interesting guests.
Uh, so for tomorrow, we have this show about what's happening in Parachinar between Sunnis and Shias. They're all it's really chaotic. So we're going to have some Shias and Sunnis to get into discussion about the whole situation that is happening in Parachinar. And I guess that's it. That's what we're going to discuss. I'm not going to give you too much details so that find out tomorrow the rest of it. But I guess we're done with this show. We'll be keeping it short from now onwards to make sure you can watch the whole thing, not lose anything. And thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share with your friends. And we'll be coming with more interesting topic from time to time. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Have a nice day.